What up, people? This is Playing in Traffic, and my name is Lewis Lee from All Ends Media. I got a couple things I'm going to kick out. I'd like to wish everybody a happy New Year's. 2019 was an exciting year for us to push Playing in Traffic. We had a lot of wonderful guests. You can go back and watch the replays on YouTube or Facebook, Playing in Traffic. But this year is going to be really popping. We got a lot of celebrities, a lot of entertainers, car builders, people like that coming on, manufacturers. We made a lot of good connections at SEMA this year. And we're going to do a lot of traveling this year also. We will be hitting different car shows. We'll be going to different garages. We're going to try to hit a lot of private owned garages, builders, mechanics. We're going to bounce around the country and try to showcase a lot of those type of people, backyard mechanics that are building hot stuff, things like that. And we got some people jumping in the chat room. So if anybody wants to take a look at the website, playingintraffic.com, we will be adding a lot of new stuff in the future, like real quick. Here's our store that's showing now. You can go on and get stickers, t-shirts, cups, hats. That anything we sell out of here helps us move forward with the channel. And I guess that's it about the announcements. Let's see. We got Chassis John. What's up? What's up, John, Brian, Papa Squirrel? How was everybody's New Year's? Oh, another thing, if everybody could share that we're on Facebook, or not Facebook, on YouTube. We're trying to build our YouTube channel. If we can get that, get our numbers up there. Hey, John.
Hey, how's it going?
Pretty good, pretty good. How was your Happy New Year's? How was your New Year celebration?
Good. Went to New York.
Did you? You watched the ball?
Cold. Yeah.
Listen,
I watched the ball drop from my mom's house.
Oh, did you? You did it the smart way.
We were in the city before the ball dropped.
Okay.
A couple of days there, went and saw my uncle, and then headed out to the island, see my mom. Mm-hmm. I saw Ray did his radio show.
Yeah, I was out on the road. I couldn't get on. I was going to try to call in.
Yeah, it was good. We had a good time. Nice little studio, the whole deal.
Yeah.
Let me tell you something. I listened to parts of the replay because I had to take a long drive in my truck. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what microphones he's got in that studio, but they're phenomenal.
Yeah.
Oh, God, my voice sounded so good. So it's a combination of the mic and whoever did the EQ and the acoustics of the room. But I was like, wow, I sound good. I was pretty pleased.
All right. Now you know how I get away with it.
Was that right?
Happy
New Year's.
Yeah. Happy New Year to you all, John. Yeah, it was great having you in. It was, and I got some feedback too from my cousin or from other people and said, man, that guy John sounds great. You got to have him on more. I'm like, well, yeah, he's in Florida. What am I going to do?
I'll have to start making some trips.
Yeah. Hey, whenever you come around, you got a spot.
You guys making me jealous. I'm going to have to take a ride over to New York.
Yeah, Lewis, you're one of the guys who hasn't made it yet. Yeah, this is the thing. I mean, you bust my balls about SEMA, but, it's the same thing. Like, when you coming in? I know you're not in New York. It's, when you're here, you'll come in. That's all. Hey, John wasn't scheduled. I have my buddy Kevin coming in. It's literally 11:45, and John calls me and says, hey, I'm free. Can you get me a spot? I was like, yeah. Okay. Kevin, listen, next week.
And then I got lost.
Yeah, everybody does.
Oh my God, it's I haven't been on the island in so long.
Yeah. Well,
And the fact that Nassau Community College, in my head, I know it's around the corner from Hofstra and the Coliseum,
right.
but that's gone. I completely forgot that. And I went and put in the radio station's call letters in my GPS on my phone, and it took me someplace about 8 miles away in this tiny little hamlet.
I got a
This
feeling.
like obscure building that
Yeah.
maybe one day in the past might have been a studio for that radio station.
You know what it might have been, and I got to talk to someone. I got to find someone who knows the history. They might have had a transmitter or an antenna at that site, and it
Right.
becomes a registered address.
Exactly.
See, now the transmitter is in the studio, and the antenna is on top of the tower, which is the administration building
Right.
on site. So that could just be old information. Nobody ever updated
Sure.
it, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, the show went over well. Like I said, I got a lot of good feedback.
I had a good
And
time.
yeah, it was, and you know, I was talking to my cousin about it. He says, "No, John was great." He goes, "You didn't, you know, did you talk to him beforehand?" I said, "Listen, I know John now through playing in traffic long enough to know I just had to let him talk because he can
Yeah.
talk and he
Let him
knows how to
be
handle
part.
himself." You know, done deal. We had a couple of calls. You know, Jim called us, and a couple of Brian called. A couple of you know, we had a few other calls, and that's all you need. You got a radio show. You know.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a blast. It was awesome.
See, like that, I'll tell you the secret now. Since I was having Kevin in, he was planned. I try to tailor the music for the guests
Right.
somehow, some way. And Kevin and I were big Cream fans, so that's why I had the Cream
Oh, I
theme.
love Cream.
But last minute, I didn't have any. I would have found some drum stuff. I would have doubled down on the drum stuff, but I had no time at all. You know, so it was like Cream. It is.
That's a little YYZ.
Yeah, right. Oh, I got a ton of stuff I could have done. Yeah, but,
Yeah.
yeah,
No, it was
so,
good. It was very good. You know, it was nice because it's back on Long Island.
right.
A lot of people know me over there.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, Chassis Connection was the biggest race car shop on Long Island for close to 20 years.
Where was the shop located?
We were in North Bayshore.
Okay.
I call it Deer Park, but the
Yeah. Well, that borders.
mailing address there is North Bayshore. It's off Pine Air Drive,
Okay, so was it up by
Cleveland
Suffolk Avenue?
Avenue.
Was it by Suffolk Avenue at all?
Yeah, west of Suffolk Avenue.
Okay, because my brother lived in Bayshore, but he was further south off Candlewood
Yeah.
Road, so I bumped around that way a bit. I wound up in a few places I shouldn't have been in, in like
Well,
Bayshore, Brentwood.
It's in that big industrial park that's east of Comac Road,
Yeah,
south of Pine Air Drive.
right.
Literally, like right there. You got a whole bunch of stuff, you know, going on in there. There's a lot of machine shops, SAG Supply,
Yeah.
Freddie Brown Racing
Right.
Transmissions.
Right.
He's there. We were right down the street from Freddie.
You know,
Cleveland Avenue.
my buddy Christian from now it's Long Island Racing. It's the old Orient Express. He's
Right.
in a building, and I think it's probably in that same division. There's a park right down the block, and it was a park where they had a couple MS-13 killings about 2 years ago. 2 girls were killed, and it's right there. I mean, that's right where he is. It's it could be the same place, but
That's horrible. I've heard quite
yeah.
a bit about MS-13 kind of
Yeah.
taking over that area.
they've done a lot of they make a lot of headway. There's gang forces. They did a couple of big takedowns recently. They
Yeah.
busted like 50 guys, and they said in the paper that they basically shut it down. I was like, bullshit. You don't shut it down. You move it. You move.
Yeah.
You don't shut it down.
Well, you know the kind of guy I am. If I was the police commissioner over there in that precinct, I'd get all my policemen together and have a closed meeting and tell them, here's the deal. Assassination,
Yeah.
there's no paperwork.
Right.
Just go around and just kill them all.
Right. Hit squads.
Let's just cleanse the area because these people are horrible.
Oh, they are. They're the worst.
My mother sends me stuff from Newsday where it's like people get decapitated there by this gang.
Right.
In order to get into the gang, you gotta like murder somebody.
Oh yeah.
You know,
And they use machetes. I mean, that's their weapon of choice.
Yeah.
A machete. There's a picture in the Daily News today of a guy that got tuned up. Actually, it's the Hasidic guy who got tuned up. It wasn't an MS-13 thing, but the guy was sliced with a blade. And I tell you, man, you see this guy in the hospital with these fresh wounds, and it's horrifying looking. I mean, a bullet wound would be like merciful,
right?
God.
It's either that. You have to figure out how to do this quietly, or you need to tell the police that we're bringing in mercenaries.
Right.
and just let them run wild for a month or two and just cleanse the area.
Yeah.
Hey guys, let's put this conversation at the end
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right. But sometimes we start backwards, you know.
of the show.
No.
That's for the what do you call it? The after party.
Well, that's usually the music show, Lewis. You missed that. We're always on the music hour after that. We, you
Yeah,
know,
I miss it. I'm a sleepyhead. I got to go to bed.
I know.
So,
Yeah.
what happened on Christmas? Anybody get anything good?
I'm returning my stuff now and making exchanges. My wife got all the wrong crap. That's all right.
I got some really cool stuff. My daughter had a special LED sign made for
Mhm.
me for John's Garage and Home of Half Breed.
Nice.
And
Nice.
it's got the year that I created that car, 1982.
Is it like a lucite one that with a blue neon, a blue light?
It's like a circle with
Okay.
wings, kind of like a modified Chevy emblem.
Cool. That's nice.
Nice.
It's really cool.
Yeah.
Maybe later I'll plug it in.
That's cool.
I'm trying to find a spot in the garage to hang it.
Right.
It's and it's got a little remote control. It's got like
Oh,
every
yeah.
color of the rainbow. It fades, it flashes. It's
You know,
solid.
my
It's
wife
good.
had ordered
Thing's
this.
awesome.
You know, the battery powered candles that everybody use. We got a ton of them.
Yes.
So she ordered one for my one daughter off of some Chinese website. You know, it projects the stars on the ceiling, and then a little remote changes the colors. So she got one, and it didn't work. And she goes, "I don't know. I'm going to get another one." Like, give me that. Let me look at it. So I actually took it apart. I took the battery compartment out, and there was a fucking just a wire that had a blob of solder on it that was just disconnected. I was like, "Fine Chinese, quality control. I'll fix it." So what it is that they use like a silverized metal, like for a battery terminal. On small equipment, the battery terminal is like a silver, almost like chrome, and you have to file that to get down to the substrate. You got to get down to the copper because the solder doesn't stick. Did that, hooked it up, done. So she already got a new one in the mail. So the other daughter got the second one. Like, okay, you got the freebie.
Nice.
Dad fixed it again. It's my job.
Yeah. Me and the wife got his and her crossbows.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so we got new toys to play with.
All right, where are you going to go fire that?
Right out back.
Really, you can do that. I thought you're in development now, though.
Well, I am, but there's woods all the way around the development, so we just walk
Okay.
over by the
All right.
dumpster and get loose.
Cool.
Crossbows are cool. That's a
They-
dangerous weapon.
They're
Yeah,
quiet. Yes, it is.
She wanted a crossbow, so I went to get it. And when I went in, I'm like, wow, they got a sale on these things. I was like, I better get me one too. She can't have all the fun.
Now let me ask you, what's the range on the price of crossbows? I can only imagine.
It goes from 250 to 2,000.
Yeah, I would
I
imagine.
mean, I've seen some in there that were big bucks.
Right.
Yeah, but we're kids. We're just playing around. I'm not going hunting.
I think the governor of New York put that on the endangered list with assault rifles.
Yeah.
Cuomo.
Did you hear the list of stuff for Virginia?
Yes.
Oh
Yeah.
my! I mean, they are going after them.
I
It's
know,
going to be a
another-
civil war. I'm telling you now.
A retired cop friend sent me a list today. It's ridiculous. Yeah, I don't. They expect them to come and they expect you to hand them your guns. Like, no, man. Hey,
They even got
Catherine.
to the point where they said that if you're going to train somebody to do something, that they might do something illegal. You
Right.
can't do that either. I mean, they got it. Oh, it's crazy.
That's insane.
Yeah, it's going to be bad.
This
It's
has
gonna
got to
be
stop.
Yep.
New York lets all the criminals out of jail.
Oh yeah, already. There was an article in the paper today about this guy who went in, robbed a bank, used a gun, and he's out already. I mean, and he did it on purpose because he orchestrated, the crime, knowing he would get out. And it's like it's a joke. It's
And
a freaking joke.
he's definitely gonna come back.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. He's
Yeah.
gonna take that ticket they gave him. He's gonna show up in court.
of course. Yeah.
That kind of, not to get back on this craziness, but whoever wrote that bill, you want to grab him around the neck and shake him and go, seriously?
Yeah.
Do you think a criminal is going to take the ticket and come back for punishment? You're an idiot.
Yeah.
And yet people vote for that stuff. It's a sorry state you're living in. I'm sorry. We don't have that here.
No, you're right. And the thing is, the governor rules by intimidation and fear. So he probably wrote the damn thing, and he does closed chamber, and it's like, hey, listen, guys, it's like my way or the highway. We'll stay here until the vote goes right, is what he'll do, and then He'll just get his way, and they're all afraid. The junior senators, or they're all too afraid to, to go against him. And
I don't get it.
he's got to get out of here. He really does. But there's a guy I'd vote for right there.
Hey
Yep.
guys, what's going on?
What's happening, Brian?
What's
Great
going
big
on?
Teddy bear.
Just out having a little fun. I got a little arts and craft project going on.
Wow.
One of my customers, I don't know if here how to turn it around, but can you see the handlebars?
Yeah.
We got to do a little welding here,
Oh, good.
little activity, a little arts and crafts. It's
Well,
never a
point the-
dull moment.
Point the
Wait.
camera at it and fire it up, man. Spark it up. Let's go. We'll watch it.
Late night arts and crafts.
So,
Arts and crafts. Never.
so Brian, John got to see firsthand your handiwork on your custom
Yes.
ratchet.
Yep,
Oh,
taking
yeah.
orders. So it could
I'm
be.
gonna-
It
I'm
could
gonna be
if
ordering
you need
stuff
one,
like
let
that.
me know.
Yeah, definitely. That was beautiful work.
Yeah.
So,
Nice tool.
Nice.
Very
Nicely
nice tool.
balanced and stiff. I like that.
And
The-
what? Yeah. You see, the thing is, John. Like, I was actually gonna tell your wife. I didn't get around to it. But like a lot, I've shown other people and said, you're looking at about $300 worth of tools here if you want to go like the list price. And a lot of people go, ah! Like, but you're getting $1,000 worth of quality. I know your wife would be okay. Be like, yeah, whatever. She goes, well, yeah, I know.
Exactly.
But it's like $1,000 worth of quality because it's just fantastic stuff.
Well, she kind of knows what's going on,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I told her I bought a titanium clutch can.
Oh yeah.
She happened to Google that.
Uh-oh.
She comes to me. She's like, $3,800
Yeah.
for a can.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh yeah, but that's not what I paid. Here's the receipt.
Yeah.
Oh, good deal.
Yes. From Wide Shopper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
bro-
miss the old days when we wrote a lot of receipts because a lot of guys would say, "Hey, you gotta tell my wife I only paid this much," So,
Right. I'll tell you a funny story. I don't know. I might have told it on here before. Back in like 81, 82, I had a Snap-on guy, and he was a friend. He used to come to my house with the truck, so it was pretty cool. So my girlfriend, who became my wife, she wanted to get me a present. What do you want? I said, what? I need a floor jack, so I want to get the Snap-on floor jack. I think at the time it cost like $250, which is now probably, $1,250. So anyway, she says, well, can I pay it off? Yeah, you can pay it off by the week. He'll take payment. So she was giving me like $20 a week to pay it off. And he would write, those were the days of the hand receipts. He would write a receipt with her name on it. And it ended up, I guess, with a little bit of a backlog. His wife did his books. So one day he comes to me and goes, oh, dude, he goes, I'm fucking so much trouble. Like, what do you mean? Because my wife's going to kill me. I'm like, why? What happened? He goes, she does my books. I was like, oh, man, you don't know. You're not smart enough to keep 2 sets of books. He's like, no, she got to some of your receipts. I'm like, well, wow, what the hell did I do wrong? He goes, no, the floor jack. I'm like, and again, I'm not thinking. It was around it just happened. I think a payment day fell on Valentine's Day, and he wrote Linda, and he put hearts around it. She thinks he's screwing around with the girl on the route, and now she nailed him.
Oh,
And he's like, I was like, wait a minute. I was like, we can solve this right away. It's like, let's know how to cell phones. I said, I'll call your wife. We'll call up. I'll put her on. We'll go to your house. I'll put my girlfriend on the phone. We'll clear this all up. He's like, no, she's a crazy Italian. You don't get it. I'm like, well, so we know how that goes. I don't know how he resolved it, but like he was, he goes, oh man, what a stupid mistake. I'm like, no, it's the funniest thing I ever heard in my life.
Well, listen, it's funny you said Linda because that happened to me with lynda.com is a training. Like you can go on and get tutorials. It's called lynda.com.
Oh yes, right. Yeah.
So that shows up on my receipt, lynda.com.
Oh, okay. There you go.
And my wife's like, who's Linda?
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
oh, it's .com.
It's gotta be that name. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
That doesn't
That's
look
yeah.
good.
So that was
That's crazy.
yeah, it was cool stuff. And I still have the receipt. I actually dug it out of my I still it's kind of faded now, even though it's in the book, but I still have it. And yeah, it was kind of fun.
So Brian, if people want to order stuff from you, can they order like online directly from you, or do you have to be in that area?
Well, they would have to just go through, message me on Facebook at Hey Maco Man, and that's basically how it would have to go.
Okay.
That's just me through there. I think my number's on there. They can give me a phone call, my work phone, and text me, call me. I'm 24/7.
I
Let me
think
ask you this: would it be okay for me to put a link on the website for your Facebook?
Yeah.
we have a
Okay.
link. I was going to say we have a link on motormouthradio.com for Brian. So I think all his information can be found on there. And we have a fresh link for John on motormouthradio.com. So you can
Okay,
find
cool.
the chassis connection Facebook page and the tribute page for the car.
So that's
All right.
awesome.
Well, I'll
Thanks.
get on that this week. Get you guys up on the site.
Right.
Yep, no problem. That'd be awesome. Like I said. So what else is going on? Everybody survive all the holiday activity?
Yeah, I stayed home.
I tell you, I was sitting on the couch, almost falling asleep for New Year's.
I did fall
I
asleep.
almost missed it.
I was sleeping in my recliner.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Christmas
Yeah,
at
I-
home,
I,
and then went to the city.
Yeah.
Spent a couple days there. Went to my mom's. Watched I don't know, a bunch of people on that New Year's Rockin' Eve.
Uh-huh.
That
Yeah.
I had no clue who they were.
Oh yeah, no.
Zero. And then I was pretty amazed that some guy named Post Malone.
Oh yeah, Post Malone. My daughter's
Now, I've
seen
heard
him
a
Jones Beach.
song of his that's
Yeah.
like pretty popular. So I'm like, oh, okay, there's some
Right.
talent there.
Yeah.
The dude's face is completely covered in weird looking tattoos.
Yeah.
Like I'm
Yeah.
really mad at myself, and I'm just gonna make myself look ugly. And when I'm 50, I'm really gonna regret this.
Yeah.
So, and
that's
he was walking around in a hot pink suit,
Yeah.
and I'm
No,
like,
those- the
yeah,
I
okay.
saw your comments. I wanted to add in, but I have to learn to. My new 2020 is to be calm and collective.
Yeah.
There
My
you go.
2020 is gonna be I'm gonna be better than I was last year. So get
What, in
ready
your
for
comments?
some dynamite.
Yeah. No, the face tattoos are a thing now. Like a lot of the rappers are doing it. It's like that's the best way to be out there. And truthfully, when it's you don't know it because they're on your face. You don't even see it. You know.
Yeah.
He's got this thing along the right hand side of his face. It like starts at his sideburn and comes down. It looks like somebody threw ink and it landed like the design of the state of Florida on the side
Yeah.
of his face.
Yeah.
It doesn't even look like something. It's just this like big black thing. I'm like, okay,
See,
whatever.
the thing is, those guys, they're rich, so they don't have to look for a job.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
You know, us, we gotta stay on the corporate side.
They don't
Yeah.
have to sit across from a guy and do an interview. Right.
Yeah.
Well, I don't
yeah.
know. We were talking about that this morning, and guy that works for me Googled him. He's only worth $15 million at today's money.
But how old is he?
He's 20 something, I
Oh,
think.
he's got time.
28 or 30.
But how much longevity is he going to have? You know,
That's what I'm saying.
I tell my kids, I'm like, listen, the bands that I listened to 45 years ago, some of them are still making music. You know.
Yeah. Well, my employee says that he thinks he's in that age where he'll probably go broke before he's done,
Right.
and
Right.
he'll just be a useless guy with face tattoos.
and a bad drug habit he can't afford. Yeah.
I feel bad for
Exactly.
some of those guys because they got a guy. They've hired everybody to do something. You know, they're going to be broke.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
So,
Yeah. The work ethic ain't what it used to be.
No.
Yep.
So yeah, my thing for 2020 is I'm not changing a thing, and I started right away at the airport. You know, there was trying to get off Long Island. There were 15 or 17 wheelchairs that went on that plane before I could even think about getting on.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, and there was like 5 or 6 families with kids, and there was 5 dogs and a cat.
Wow.
No ponies.
Well, those are all
No,
your people, John. They're all going back with you. So
Unfortunately,
all
yeah,
yours.
you know what the funny part is though? We get to Tampa, and we sat like at the emergency exits because there's a lot more room.
Mhm.
And with those particular planes, it's 3 seats at the back emergency door, and 2 seats with a big gap at the
Right.
front emergency. There's side by side on the wing.
Yeah.
So Barb and I took the 2-seat deal, which
Yeah.
you know I was able to spread out. It was nice. So
Good.
we got off relatively fast. So I'm like, well, what happened to all of these people that came in on wheelchairs that were sitting in like the first 8 rows?
Yeah.
And when we got to baggage claim, there was only 3 wheelchairs there.
Really?
So who's kidding who?
Yeah. What? Right. Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
They rolled in, but they got up and walked off.
Walked out.
It was a miracle.
Yeah. It was a miracle of leaving New York. Good Florida air.
Funny. So yeah, no, I'm not changing a thing for 2020.
I gotta say, Brian, you look like you're in a Stanley Kubrick movie. You know, the lighting and the black background. You look like you're in a Kubrick flick. Definitely.
Yeah, I'm outside.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh,
Nice.
see?
Yeah,
So
good
there
service.
he just proved one of those theories.
What's that?
See the black background?
Yeah.
That's why it's black when you're on the moon too. Camera can't pick up the stars.
Well, what's behind you, Brian?
Huh?
Literally, what's behind you?
Just sky.
the
See
sky.
any stars?
Nah, it's the camera. Yeah, it's.
Can you see stars?
Well, they're real light. We have a little bit of ground. It's supposed to come in raining tonight.
Yeah,
We got a little coverage.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I watched one of those shows, John. They were talking about the moon landing, and that was one of the theories.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I've seen the show
don't
where
even
they
get me started.
disprove those theories.
I watched that one too. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I watch a lot of that stuff.
Until I have issue with that. They tell you, well, how come the Hubble telescope can see stuff from so far away and it can't see stuff on the moon?
They couldn't see that, right? That was one of the
No,
theories. Yeah, they said that,
Some of the stuff that I read and things that I read on my own is the focal length of that telescope.
Yeah.
It can't focus in on something.
that one show I
close.
watched. The guy went to different. He used any optics he had. He went to a small observatory. And he went to. He says, "Listen." He went to like the Griffith Park Observatory. Then he said, "We need something bigger. We need a Hubble telescope." And then he went to Washington, and they actually fired it up. And they showed an overlay of like the United States and how big it is on the moon compared to the landing site. And they showed you in comparison. It's like way smaller. There's no way you can see that.
No.
So, yeah, that's whatever.
Yeah,
Well,
whatever.
What's it mean to me anyway, right? I mean, really, what's the difference?
Well, my
Yeah.
plans this year is to do a lot of visiting different shops.
Oh,
I'm gonna hit
Cool.
some shops and some companies.
that's nice.
I'm working a deal I hope goes through with some sponsors that will help me travel to bounce around and do some interviews live, stuff like that.
That's
That'd
good.
be
Hey,
awesome.
it was Tuesday. I'm in my chiropractor's office, and I get a text from that guy I talk about all the time, Clay Kuhn, down at Kuhn Trucking in Mississippi. I started following him on his Instagram page, and I had him on the show once. And nice guy. He's got a diesel shop. He actually taught me how to say the word. Like up here in New York, we say diesel with a Z, but down there it's diesel. So
Yeah.
Diesel.
he sends me a text. He says, "Listen, I want to do a promotion, a commercial for Facebook and maybe for local broadcast, and I'd like you to do the voiceover." And I'm like, "I'm not a voiceover guy." He's like, "No, you got a great voice." And I was like, "Secondly, in Mississippi, who wants to hear me?"
New York.
Right?
They won't be
he's-
able to understand it, right?
I know. Hang on a second. So I said, "All right." So I said, "Send me the copy." So I rewrote it so I could, read it better. And I came home and I fired up the mic and Audacity and and I did it. I threw it out to him. I said, "Here's a rough copy." He used it just the way it is. He goes, "I love it. I love it." Wouldn't you know, one of the first comments that one of the guys, it's another diesel guy down there that follows him, said, "No disrespect, but why do you have a Yankee do the voiceover?" I said, "I don't know about it. Told you so."
You got to put in there, hey, we're all family.
At least he pronounced the word diesel right.
Well, and it was in the copy like 4 times, so I had to make sure I did it right, And so anyway, he actually wanted to pay me to do it. I said, "Listen, dude," I said, "You're a friend. I'll do it. I'll just do it for you. It's no big deal." And he said, "Man, you did it fast." And I said, "Listen, I'm from New York. We think fast, we talk fast, we work fast." I said, "I wanted to get it off my plate and done, so I didn't have to forget about it and then feel like an ass that I forgot." A lot of people don't understand that, that way of doing things. But I said, "Listen, you do a lot of tool reviews." I said, "Cut me on some of your tool reviews. Send me some stuff. Let me do some of that work. That's payment enough. That's cool. I like that stuff. So we'll see what happens. But yeah, you never know when you're going to get a deal like that. It's like,
Absolutely not.
yeah. So Lewis, if you can hook up with with travel and stuff, that's great, man. Good luck.
Yeah, that's what I really want to do is really go places and show stuff. Like the guy that came on with Terry.
Oh yeah. From the last guy
His
we had
buddy,
on.
his buddy
Yeah.
from upstate there.
Yeah, see, I would love to go there. Yeah, Nelson. I would love to go there and actually really go through and take pictures and video, really go through it.
Do you have the capability on this platform? Like if you went and filmed something and then did a segment, in other words, you're live here and then you go, okay, we're gonna go to this segment now and then fill the screen with the video, something like a 4 or 5 minute video and then come back to live. That would be like totally awesome.
Yeah, I can do that, but they don't have audio. I can put the video up, but no audio. So
that's weird.
Yeah, it is. Don't get me started. But anyway, I'm looking at some other platforms because all the platforms that we've been on, they're starting to add new stuff. So we might go, jump back somewhere else, to get what we need. But yeah, that's exactly how I want to do it. Is be able to come on and
that would be really cool if you could get a platform that gives you as the boss a
moderator,
a console on your screen to be able to do that kind of stuff. Load, start and stop a video. You know what I'm saying? It's something. So you're almost like controlling a television program.
Yeah. So I'm working on it.
That's
hopefully,
cool.
I thought Crowdcast would jump up, man, because they're the most expensive one and they don't have it all. So
sitting on their butts.
Yeah. Back to Blab, man. Blab had it all.
Yeah, you see, Lewis, and I showed John on Sunday. I said, this is what we don't get to do on Thursday. We don't get to interject like commercials and music and break it up. And I mean, to me, that's like that's the craft of the whole thing is like playing DJ. But
yeah,
I'm new to it, so I'm learning.
And let me tell you something: you got to see Ray operate.
Really, I'd like to see.
I was a DJ. I was a DJ at the radio station at Suffolk Community College when I was
you
going.
Did mention that, yeah.
You mentioned that, right?
Right.
And things were different. That was an analog console. You had turntables. We had 3 turntables. We had a large reel-to-reel.
Let me tell you something. Let me interject. Where you were sitting, that piece of countertop opens up. It would open up toward you, and there's a turntable in there.
Oh, wow.
In fact, when Rob was in the studio, I had to ask him I asked him a question about the board. He had it selected for turntable 1, and I haven't used the turntable, so I had to find out how to take that off to get back to the CD player.
Yeah.
So we still have that.
So he's got a nice computer screen, and he's loading stuff in, and he's hitting buttons, and he's got stuff in the queue, and bam, 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 and he's moving sliders around, and he's in and out from queue to program, and I know this stuff,
right?
But he's working that console, and I'm like, look at Ray go, man! He's a real DJ.
And I got to tell you,
working for WBAB.
I'll tell I was trying to get on BAB, but I'll tell you the truth. For years, when the co-host who I came in with, Chris, he ran the board. I didn't run it, but I watched him. And being a mechanical guy like you guys, I learn by doing and by watching, and I really study. So when he left the show, he kicked it over to me and Joe, and I was like, "Well, who's going to run the board?" He was like, "Well, you're going to have to learn how to do it." I'm like, "How am I going to just learn how to do?" It was like, believe me, it was some real tense moments, and that show almost ended. Wow. But I said, "All right, let me see. I remember why. I know the mechanics of what he was doing. I just don't know the specifics." So I put Post-it notes on it, and we had an analog board in the past, and they converted it. And then after a few weeks or months, and now you get more comfortable as you do it, it becomes so second nature after a while. It's like, oh yeah, this was easy. But if I hadn't watched and studied his hands, like I knew where the phone was and I knew what he was doing, so I kind of embedded that in the memory already.
Yeah.
I
like the little blue light. I guess that's when somebody's calling. Yeah. It starts with glass.
That's new one. It used to be white, but because you can't have a ring. It can't ring in the studio.
Yeah, I know that.
So obviously you have a flashy, and that's the funny thing. Like where you sat, I always turn to look at that's where Joe sits, where you are. So I look at the co-host, and what I learned is I watch his eyes just like yours. And when I saw your eyes look up, I knew the phone was lit because I knew you weren't looking out the window. It was probably nothing there. So that kind of cues me to turn and look and say, okay, let's see who's on the phone.
Tricks of the trade.
It's all it's a lot of unspoken stuff that goes on. You know, it's kind of like being in a band where like the drummer watches the bass player. You look for the change. You're looking for a break, and you know, you kind of watch the guys. You know who's calling the shots.
Yeah. It was a nice hour. I had a good time.
Yeah, it flew right. It just
Did well, because you got to interject commercials and the whole
Yeah.
deal. So.
yeah. I kept them short.
Yeah,
There's a lot going on.
What's
it's
that?
way too short, Ray.
I know. Well,
They need to give you a
And the
2
funny
hour
part,
show.
the funny part is, by the time you guys get
Right to
start
the-
getting phone calls in for cars, it's like time to go.
oh, I know. And you know, I always get those late calls, like it's 12:57, and someone's calling in. I'm like, oh man, this could be like a 10-minute call because the guy has a real problem. It's like, well, we'll give it our best,
Yeah.
But they just gave me a thing today again for Tobay Beach. We're doing 2 more remotes at Tobay
Cool.
in April and in October. So we'll be back at the beach doing live remotes. So that'll be fun.
See
Well-
Dina's comment.
What'd she say? It's harder. Dina. Now I'll tell you what that means. Dina and Drew would come into the studio quite a lot years ago, and she would bring food. She'd bring trays of food. Broccoli, Rob. They brought cannolis. They brought sausage and peppers. Drew's sausage and peppers are to die for. I mean, it's freaking fantastic. So we got all this hot food in the studio. You can't eat when you're doing a radio
That's a
show.
no in the studio.
Oh yeah, but in the
Dirty
commercials-
knobs and everything, huh?
Oh yeah, the good. Oh yeah,
Well, that's why you need an Agata Davida, right?
right. Put on the wrong
Exactly.
song.
That's it.
Yeah, I
Either
got
that or you got to play like the whole Dark Side of the Moon
right.
or like the Chicago Blue album, like I think it's side 2 or something, the one with 25 or 6 to 4. You just let
Motorboat
that
to
whole thing
Mars.
run.
Yeah, right. Yeah, do an album
Gotta,
cut.
right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I like with Terry. Terry was on Lewis the week before. He came down and did a show with me the week before. And it was the drum show. I mean, I had people giving me grief over it too. Like, hey, hey, it's good you finally got around the car. I was like, listen, dude, it's good to be king. What can I tell you? Like,
Yeah.
I'll get this guy in the studio. We're going to have some fun here. It was Christmas. I had all my Christmas jazz music. It was,
Yeah.
You're the chief and high commander, so
and that's why I said it's good to be king. It's like, it's what you want to do. That's what you do. Yeah.
That's
So, yeah,
right.
it's all, it's all good. This is fun. They're all different. And the thing that amazes me is we've had so much crossover from this show to the radio show, but it's not going the other way. And I don't know why. I mean, there's got to be a better way of promoting it. I don't think people can find this is what it is. I think they're having trouble finding it. Even though I have a link. We got a link on the website, but I don't know. I thought about that. I was just talking to my cousin about that last night. I don't know.
Well, let's get together and brainstorm. See,
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I don't know, maybe one of the aspects is the fact that the majority of the people are just listening.
Yeah.
So it's almost like
Right.
like video radio.
Well, kind of, yeah.
And if we get off on a tangent that they're not interested in, they're
True.
going.
Jump. Yeah,
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
No politics.
Well, yeah.
yeah. It's getting rough, ain't it?
Yeah, some of them, especially during the elections, we had a couple of those long tirades.
All right. Well, I'm gonna tell you guys about
How-tos.
I'm gonna tell you guys about my new rabbit hole that I'm falling into.
Oh, boy.
good. What
Here
is
we
it?
go.
Well, the lowriders, they like to engrave stuff on
Yeah.
their car.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, 1911.
oh yeah, I'm already working on that.
All right, good. All right,
Yeah.
good.
she's
you
already
starting-
been prepped for
Slab
it.
side 1911, Jesse James style. Yeah.
You're starting to engrave metal.
Yeah, man.
Special tools.
Yeah, I'm starting to get the tools. I'm gonna make some of the tools. That's what I'm in that rabbit hole of making the tools.
Dude, if you do that
to-
stuff, you're an absolute artist.
Well, I mean, you need an engraver first and foremost.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna build one because they're expensive. They're like $1,000, man. I could build one myself.
I know some of the guys use like to gouge. They use hand. There's a name for those tools. There's just like the woodworking tools. There's a name for them. But like to gouging and do deeper. Deeper
Yeah,
things.
it runs off air,
Okay.
the air engravers. So that's what I'm working on now. So I'm working on building that. So I'm gonna do my bumpers. I'm gonna do my mirrors, my handles. I'm telling you, I'm going all the way, man. It's gonna be California.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, they might.
I think like electric engravers, people that are sketch artists or painters can take to that like
Yeah.
instantly.
Mhm.
It's
Right.
in the hand. It's in the muscle memory.
Yeah.
You
Mhm.
know, like my daughter would be absolutely awesome with that stuff. She can
Yeah.
paint, she can draw, so
Well, that's yeah.
she'd be able to do that.
My older daughter paints glassware, so but the engraver beats you up. It really vibrates the hell out of your hand.
Vibrates, right?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
does.
There's
Right.
no way of like a shock absorbing
I
Well,
watch
stuff.
the tattoo shows now. Everybody's using those really big foam grips, and I wonder, the feel has got to be different. I like a nice, slender, slim. I like to grab stuff. So I don't know. That's just me, but
Well,
I guess
think about the old school guys that used to hammer,
yeah,
like
Yeah.
the guns and
That's
stuff. they
that's
use-
what I was thinking that you were getting into
Oh,
was
no,
hand
no.
engraving.
No, I'm
That-
going there.
Look, go back to the original tattooing. It was hand strike
Yep.
with
Right.
a wood needle with an indigo ink on it. You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. I get
Yeah.
I see some tattoos that absolutely amaze me.
Yeah.
The
Listen,
shading and the
I run
coloring
across
is
I
phenomenal.
run across guys that have beautiful tattoos, like whole shoulders, bodies. I'm like, man, where'd you get that? First thing they say is jail. They got
Wow.
it in jail. It's unbelievable.
Really.
The art is on some of these guys. I mean, it's way better than I'm not saying it's better, but I've seen some that were nicer than shops.
Right.
And they said I got them in prison. Guy made it out of a battery and a ink pen, and
The mechanics of it are very crude, and I mean they used to use tape players and tape motors, and that worked in the 60s and 70s. It's all about the hand. It's all about the artist, and I'm sure there's plenty of tattooers in jail. So
if they would use that for the good, you know what I mean, instead
All right.
of breaking the law.
Hey, Brian, where's your Matco tattoo? I know you got one somewhere. Where'd you put it?
Huh?
Where'd you put the
Actually,
right
the
above
funny-
his butt.
Matco?
Tramp stamp.
Right, Matco at Wings.
Well, the funny part was a couple years ago, or a couple years before, I had gotten a wrench devil, the coupe,
Okay, yeah.
and that was a car club back in the 50s, and the wrench devils, you know what I'm saying?
Raise
And,
your camera.
Huh?
Raise your camera. There you go.
And so it was funny because I'd gotten that tattoo, and then about maybe a year later, Matco came out with that same tattoo on a toolbox.
Oh, cool.
Wow.
And man, I got all kinds of crap because then everybody thought that I got the tattoo after the box.
Oh,
Did you,
And I
did
was
you
like, had to
design
carry
that
my-
tattoo?
no,
I had to carry the paperwork around saying
Yeah.
that I was before the box,
that's old 50s flash, John. That was old car
Oh,
club
yeah.
stuff from like the 50s. Yeah,
Yeah. All right.
I remember
Yeah,
seeing that
well,
one.
when I got it, I wasn't really thinking that much, and like I said, I like it. The
Yeah,
red
hey.
devil, and
Yeah, it looks
of
good.
course everybody sees that. See a big 6'4", 385-pound guy walk through the door with a devil on his forearm. They all kind of freak out. So
Hey, just step aside and let him through. That's what you got to do.
I
You know?
do move to the front of the line pretty quick.
Do you wear like straight cut jeans cuffed up with
Yeah.
engineer boots?
Engineer boots, right? Engineer
No.
boots. Let him
And,
back in
and
tight
one of those black leather belts that's got like two rows of like 1,000,000 grommets all the way around.
Right, right.
And
That real 50s, and you got
Right.
a pack of Marlboros rolled up in the sleeve.
Luckies.
Luck-
no, I'm
Yeah,
in,
white-
I'm in work,
white t-shirt.
I'm in work uniform 24/7. I never get
Yeah.
out.
If they only knew that you were really a big teddy bear.
That's
I know. That's my downfall. Once they know it, I'm over. So,
Right. So
That's
you're
it.
done.
but I do have a pretty good intimidation factor at the first.
Well, yeah, just your size alone, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
I was intimidated when I at SEMA. I told you, Ray, when I came around the corner and I saw Terry, he was facing the other way,
Right.
and then he turned around, and I went, "Holy shit!"
There's
that's
another
Terry-
teddy bear. You know?
Terry's a big
boy.
dude.
Another
He's a
teddy
big
bear, yeah.
boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was like, I'm like, whoa, you're tall.
I gotta say too, I mean,
I love him. He's great.
going through the life I've had a lot of hard guys in my life, a lot of hard dudes. I remember in some tight circles that were kind of, it's so nice to be associated now with guys that are all teddy bears. It's like at this point in my life, I don't need that crap anymore, It's like I don't have to look over my shoulder. It's nice having friends that are just nice guys. Thank you, all of you.
Oh, thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny you said that because I seen one of my old buddies. I think it was today, and I was thinking back in the day, man. I always had to worry about him starting a fight.
Yeah,
He
right.
would start a fight over nothing, and you know I can't leave him. You know what I mean? So I'm
Right.
in the mix.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's always one of them. I know.
Yep.
I had a couple of friends that were like that.
Yeah, add alcohol, instant
Yeah.
asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're
Unfortunately, most of them are gone,
Yeah,
and the
Yeah.
ones that scared me have mellowed out.
yeah. Yeah, and then again, I know I got a few friends who are still kind of hitting it hard. You know, they're still doing it, not as hard as before. But yeah, it's all a personal thing. It's like, you know what? After a while, you know, you say like, why? What's
Age.
why? You know, it's like I want to go home and just relax. I don't want to be rehabbing. You know, like
Yeah.
broken bones.
You know, a couple years ago, maybe no, it's more than a couple. It's probably 15 years ago. Me and my wife kind of stopped going out for New Year's because I was like, man, I don't want to be out with the drunks, and you know.
Right.
So this year she says, hey, let's go out. I was like, all right, we'll go out. So a couple hours later, she comes back. She goes, nah, I don't think I want to go out. We're just gonna chill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just, you know, we're older. Like we don't got to go out anymore.
Oh, you go out to dinner, you know, and
Yeah, we're
Something.
sitting on the couch.
right. Yeah, my daughter went out. You know, she's out in the city on New Year's Eve. Like, oh, jeez.
I took her to the city when we were dating in 1990. And it was like New Year's. It was the day before New Year's Eve. And I was watching TV. I was like, man, we should go to New York. And she laughed. So I called the fellas. I was like, hey, road trip. So it was like 3 cars. We piled in. We took off and went up, watched the ball fall,
Yeah.
and got back in the cars and drove back to Ohio.
All right. We're talking about 6 miles. That's doable.
Yeah, we weren't playing.
I did Times Square once
Mhm.
in the 80s,
Mm.
back in the days of MTV. I
Yeah.
had
Yeah.
a couple of friends that actually worked for MTV,
Okay.
and they got me passes. And there's the building literally right next door to the one that the ball drops on,
Mhm.
is where their studios were.
Oh, perfect.
And they had a huge party, and it was just like celebrity after celebrity after celebrity and television personalities. And there I am with my girlfriend, and I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me. I
Yeah.
can't believe I'm here, you know. And then when it was time for the ball to drop, they had police barricades in front of that building. You couldn't see anything from the sides or the back because that building's kind of triangular shaped.
Mhm.
So the crowd started in front of that building,
Mhm.
but the building we were in was within that dead zone.
Mm.
So like 60 people from that party, we all went downstairs and we were standing right there on the other side of the barricades, not being crowded or anything, and saw
Nice.
the ball drop.
Right.
It was pretty awesome, you know. And I mean, we were down there with a bunch of pretty famous people at the time that were MTV, you know, video jocks, and some of the stars that you know had videos going. And that's it though. Never again since.
You know what? You guys might be able to answer this question. How do they get all the garbage up
Oh.
the next day?
Oh, you wouldn't believe it. No, I'm telling you, because being a New York guy, within 20 minutes, Times Square is empty.
Yeah. The sanitation
Everybody leaves, and the sanitation crew, I mean, they are there immediately.
It was so much garbage I couldn't believe it.
They
Same
pull up all of the barriers,
Mm.
and the sanitation crew comes in with street sweepers
Mhm.
and a lot of crew, and
Same
they're
thing,
filling up garbage trucks and just
Yeah.
sweeping everything up. And I swear to God, in like 3 or 4 hours, it's like it never happened.
I
Yeah.
couldn't believe it.
Same
It's
thing when they do the
amazing.
ticket parades. They police those parades because everybody's the hell out of there. No one's hanging around, and they just come through like a swarm.
They have
Yeah.
vacuum trucks, you
Yeah.
know, like the vacuum trucks they use to clean out like sewer boxes.
Right.
They turn those things on and they just drag that hose along the curb. It just pulls
Yeah.
everything in. They use garbage trucks to block all of those streets.
Oh yeah. Now everything is blocked
Yeah,
off. Yeah.
the
Mhm.
day before New Year's is when they really close everything down,
Yeah.
and they block all of the streets off with garbage trucks. So
Well, it's like-
nobody's getting in.
It's like now
Those are
you
the garbage trucks that then go ahead and
Mhm.
move
That
everything
makes sense.
out of there. Yeah.
It's like you saw, John. Now Times Square is really a family-friendly place. It's not
Yeah.
the seedy. It's Disney, man. It's Disney.
Yeah. Well, it used to be that cross.
Right.
Now it's only one side.
Yeah.
The other side is a walk area.
Right.
So that, they've
Pedestrian
literally
friendly.
closed off half of Times Square.
And it's bright. You're there in the middle of the night, and it's just all the LEDs. It's just like bright.
Yeah, it's like
You know-
Disneyland.
Yeah.
Here's another story I got to tell you about that same trip. Three of us, we parked. I forget where we parked. It was somewhere where we had to ride the train in.
Mhm.
But we got out of the car, and I see this dog coming across the street. I'm like, man, I got to keep my eye on that dog, because I'm, worried about dogs, getting us.
Mhm.
So it turned and looked at me, man. It was a stinking rat.
Oh,
This thing, man, it was bigger than my cat. I couldn't
Good
believe
dog.
how big this rat was, dude. I'm like, it's a rat. So we took off
Yeah.
running.
there's your dog for you. New York.
Oh my God, it was huge.
My
York Street
uncle,
dog.
my uncle used to work for Urban Renewal
Oh,
in the
geez.
city. They
Yeah,
would go in there and tear out buildings and the whole deal. And he said the rats were the size of a big cat.
Yeah, I
Okay.
couldn't believe it.
They come tooting along and they just look at you.
Yeah,
and
when
then
he
they
was
keep
scared,
moving along. They don't care
Yeah.
about
They
you.
don't give a shit.
he
Down,
looked at me. He was like, "What are you doing on my street?" I'm like,
Yeah,
"Oh
right.
man, I'm out."
Get the hell out of here, man.
Yeah. That's pretty crazy.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, I had on my route, which I drive along DC, and there was a bakery and a bread place,
Ooh.
and they tore it down. And the next week when I drove by there was like literally like these rats the size of a cat. And they're just like sitting on the curb like the homeless, like you were supposed to throw money as you drove by or something. I was waiting for them to have a little sign in the cup, They were just like a whole family of rats just laying there on the side of the street,
Oh,
Throw 'em a
dude,
loaf of
watching the
Italian
cars
bread.
go by.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
See, my wife, man, she'd have been trying to pet him, but I had to grab her and take her.
No.
Say, "Ooh, they're cute."
No
Come on,
petting.
girl.
Disgusting.
Oh man.
Not into rats.
Oh shit.
So, John, how's the Camaro coming out? Are you doing anything else?
Well, I haven't done anything for like the last 10 days because of the holiday, and
Mhm.
we worked. Me and the guys had to work a lot of overtime to like get ahead of some of the accounts, so we could, because everybody like took off.
Yeah.
Basically, I closed the company for like almost 2 weeks,
Yeah.
and so now we're working a little hard to kind of catch up, but not bad. We did a good job of getting ourselves ahead of the game so that this week isn't real stupid.
That's good.
So that worked out well. So the Camaro has been sitting. Today I got seats and seat mounts, front seats and seat mounts from.
Jazz.
Oh my God! No. Was it? Is it TMI or something like that? One of those companies that
There's another
makes.
company that makes a really nice upholstered seat.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, because my interior guy
I
was.
think it's TMI.
I think it is TMI. Yeah, those showed up today, and
Nice.
my guy Brad happened to be at the shop at the time.
Are they like
and-
leather?
Yeah, they're really cool. They're
Yeah.
black with an insert in them and nice custom
Yeah.
design.
Well,
Yeah,
like we learned
saw
on
them.
Motor Mouth Radio, you're waiting for that the firewall cover before
Yeah,
the
that's
motor can
come.
go.
We
man.
haven't heard from those guys yet. And I didn't expect the seats to come. We picked them out at SEMA. And I didn't know that Rocco had gone ahead and ordered. We basically ordered a whole interior.
Yeah.
It's headliner, it's door panels, it's rear door panel, the rear panels next to the seat, rear seat upper and lower, front seats, center console, and a new dash pad.
Yeah.
So he ordered all of that. I need the console in order to be able to mount the shifter.
Right.
And I needed the front seats in order to be able to probably drive the car to get it broken in and
Milk crate.
situated. He'll do the rest. So he had stuff shipped to him, carpeting and
Right.
headliner and all that other stuff. So they sent me seats, and it was weird because while I was in the city, I got a call from FedEx, and I told them, I said, we're not around. Come on the 2nd. So Brad was there, and I came, and the guy says, I've been here 4 times trying to deliver this stuff. It's been sitting in the back of my truck. And he's like, dude, it's the holidays and we're closed. Like,
Yeah.
What do you want from me?
You didn't get the message, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
it's funny, John. After we got done talking on Ray's on Motormouth, I had to dig out my old Vertigate
Ah, nice.
shifter.
Nice. I love those shifters.
A Mr. Gasket Vertigate?
I love those
Uh,
shifters.
The Vertigate, no, the Hurst one. What was
The Hurst one? Because
yeah.
I had a Mr.
Sorry.
Gasket
Mr.
one.
Gasket, yeah, I had one of them too. I think that was more popular. I think more
for a second, and then you had the
Yeah,
reverse
yeah.
arm that you dropped out.
more guys, I think, had Mr. Gaskets because they were a little cheaper, I guess. You know,
I think so.
yeah, I always saw Mr. Gaskets, and I even had one of them.
Yeah, my Mr. Gasket, it was a flat stick
Yeah.
with a T handle,
Right.
and there was an aluminum ring, kind of
Mhm.
like brass knuckles.
Yeah.
That you could put 2 fingers in,
Right.
and then there was a separate shifter with a
Red
like
knob.
mine had a chrome knob.
Oh, I had a red one. Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
for the reverse.
Yeah.
I had
That's
a
it.
red. It was a red knob for my reverse.
Yeah.
And
And
I used that Hurst.
if I
I
was
put
in
the
the
Hurst
garage,
T
I could
handle
get
with
it.
the button in it for the
Right.
line lock.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
that was funny
Yeah.
as hell. I was like, man, I know I still have that stuff.
Wow, that's great.
Dude, you should eBay that thing. They're worth a bunch of money.
You know,
Really? Oh, I can't get rid of that stuff.
I'll tell you, I got like 4 Hurst Super
Order.
Shifters in the garage, and they're going for stupid money now too, even used. You know.
Well, I
Just
think I
14
told you
shifters.
when I was gonna put the Ford top loader in, I started looking around for a Super Shifter 3.
Yeah.
Which was the shifter that I had. It's got that really, really short shift, you know. I
Right.
love that shifter. That shifter was invented for road racing.
Yeah.
That's what that was all about. It was enabled to upshift and downshift quickly in a road race situation.
Yeah.
And it wound up working out good for a drag car. But I mean, I went straight to the Hurst website
Mhm.
and it came up nothing found.
Right.
And I'm like, really? And then I started, checking around, and then I called Evan Smith.
Right.
And he goes, dude, they got rid of that thing like 20 years ago.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, really?
Yeah.
So I went and I looked around on eBay. And
The only
problem, here's the
the
problem
only
with eBay,
thing
and
that-
they do it with car parts and they do it with drums. You'll get one piece, complete assembly. They
Uh-huh.
take it apart
Yeah.
and spread it out over multiple auctions.
Right. Right.
I've seen guys take Ludwig bass drums. They'll take a Vista Light.
Mhm.
They'll sell the shell. Then
Mhm.
they'll sell the hoops. Then they'll sell the lugs.
Right.
And I'm like, they completely bastardize a perfectly good part that they
Right.
could just sell to somebody, but they'd rather, whore it out and sell
Right.
all these individual pieces.
Yeah.
So for me to put together a Super Shifter 3 that would fit a top loader, it wound up that it was going to cost me somewhere in the neighborhood of about $700 or $800
Oh, geez. Yeah.
because you couldn't find one. You had to buy pieces from this guy and that guy. It was ridiculous.
Right. Right.
What are you going to do?
Yeah, they found a way to make the money. That's
But
how
I
they
gotta
do it.
say, when I mentioned Firewall, I did check out the Facebook page for your car, and I was looking at some of those pictures I hadn't seen, and like this guy's idea of aluminum work was like, I think, a can opener and a freaking
Did you see that when I pulled the are you looking at the pictures when I pulled the master cylinder off?
yes. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
Somebody took one of those. It looks like they took an air-powered hacksaw.
Mm.
The
Yeah.
hole that they made in the aluminum wasn't right for the master to bolt up.
Yeah.
So they either took a whiz wheel
Mhm.
or an air-powered hacksaw and made some slices
Yeah.
and then pushed them in.
Horrible.
Oh wow.
I'm talking dangerous.
Now, all right, let me throw something out to you guys. Here's something I had to do yesterday. And guys with mechanical knowledge, I'm curious to see if there's another way. I was changing the deadbolt on my front door. Okay. Now, the door is a steel clad wood door, standard entry door.
That's what I have.
So the hole for the deadbolt was only like 2 inches. I had to be at like 2 1/8 to 2 1/4 would have been nice for this new mechanism. But you can't use a hole saw because there's no way to use a pilot drill, obviously, because that's gone. And I had to make this hole bigger, and I couldn't make it really off center too much. So I was like, what a pain in the ass this is.
I seen a hack for that, and I
Tell
can't
me.
remember how it went. I think they put a piece of wood behind on the back side of the door.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I think you Google door hacks, door lock hacks, because I've seen it somewhere and I can't remember exactly how they did it.
I got it done. I got it done with a series of grinders and files and working, small and getting the saw in there. And then, of course, I had a 2 1/8-inch hole saw that went through, but it wouldn't go through the other side because there was a ring on it that stopped on the door. So my good and my good Milwaukee set of hole saws didn't have a 2 1/8-inch saw in it, which is like kind of a standard size for door locks. So
Yeah, that's weird.
I ended up going to it it took me like 2.5 hours to get the hole right, and then to put the whole thing in, it was like another 20 minutes. It was like all day just to get this freaking hole right.
Yeah, that sucks, don't it?
Yeah, well, that's done. House repair, don't you love it?
Yeah, I know. Been there.
Yeah.
I had, for my Christmas lights, I have one of those. It's a heavy duty timer, and it's got 6 outlets on it.
Right.
And it's been running all of my outdoor Christmas lights since the day after Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Well, I come back. I'm in New York, and I notice looking at my Ring camera that none of my lights are on out front. I come home, and the pilot light on that timer thing, it's lit, and you can hear the little motor going, for the timer wheel.
Right.
It blew out.
That means the little plastic cam broke off. Like
no, it's not that. It's the kind you push down each individual one every 15 minutes.
But I'm saying it's got to turn. It's turning inside.
It is. It's turning. The time was right on the money, but obviously the contact inside decided it wasn't going to hold the amperage that I was drawing out of it for over a month, and it just went chunk.
And you're using LED lights though, right?
Well, during the year, it's the white lights. They're LED.
Yeah.
Christmas time, not all of those spotlights I told you about are LED. Some of them are like 70-watt incandescents.
Oh yeah, you could have done it.
There's some amperage going on there.
Yeah, you could have done it. Yeah.
So the timer works, but there's no power coming out.
See, now that's
it's like a little circuit breaker button.
Yeah.
And I unplugged everything and I hit that and it just wouldn't reset. So I just chucked it in the garbage.
Well, to me, that's a project. I'm taking that thing apart. I want to see what happens. I'm doing I autopsy everything. It's like,
I bought it at Lowe's and it comes from China, so it's worth it's worthless.
I know it probably goes in the garbage anyway, but at least I like to see what caused it.
Well, what I'm going to do for next year is I'm actually going to use one of those heavy duty Intermatic timers.
Yeah.
Mount that on the wall.
I'll break it up into 2 circuits.
Well, that's what I have. I have 2 quad boxes, and each one's on a 20 amp circuit.
Okay, all right, that's pretty good.
So all I need to do then is wire the timer in,
right?
Because those things can handle. I have 2 of those, one for each of the pumps on my pool.
I guess I use one on my pool. Yeah.
Yeah, and those are I have like 12 horse pumps.
Are those like those hot water heaters? The ones for a hot water heater?
I don't know. They're the ones used for a pool, Intermatic.
Hot water heaters are usually
comes in a metal box.
Smaller box, yeah. This is a big one with a big yellow dial inside.
Exactly. Yeah. They handle big amperage.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So they're not
we had bought one. I had a friend that bought one, but he actually hooked it to his hot water heater to turn the hot water heater off when he wasn't home.
Okay.
It was on time, a big timer, big box. It was crazy.
Yeah.
That's actually a good way to do it because those heaters are 220, same as my pool pumps.
It's always better to go over than under. Like always oversize it.
Right.
You can't go wrong with electricity. Don't screw around.
That's it.
Yeah. That is true.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, but the only thing I was going to say is the only thing I can't find, and it's driving me crazy. I had a whole box full of different Hurst shifter handles.
I have them all on the top of my toolbox. I got a whole
I can't find. The only one I have is the T-handled one.
Yeah.
That was the last one I had in the Mustang. That's the only one I have. But I used to have an ivory ball, and I had all kinds of stuff. I can't find any of that stuff.
Wow.
Did you see the guy at SEMA, that Lewis, that was selling all the crazy shifter handles?
There's some nice ones now.
They were they looked like glass with stuff inside them. You know,
Oh,
like
yeah?
like that glass you get from Italy. That's got
Probably
like.
acrylic or something.
Yeah.
I'm sure they were acrylic, but
Yeah.
they were awesome. He had
Oh, I
like
didn't see him.
every different design you could think of
Yeah.
in a shifter ball.
Actually, there's a shift handle out that I
wild.
saw that I like. It's a flat handle, and they like ball and they mill out like oval chunks out of it. I want one of those. I like that handle for the Tremec.
There
And
you go.
and they make a shift ball that's got, because with a Tremec, I found out that guy that I turned you on to about the Super Shifter 3, Pete Serio, who does the shifters. I had him on the show about a year or so ago, and we were talking about that. And he said, "Well, I hope you didn't make the mistake everybody made and put a T handle on that shifter." I said, "Initially I did. I put the T handle on." I said, "But I drove the car, and it didn't feel right." So,
Right.
and I was always a T handle guy. So I went to a ball, and the ball feels right. And he goes, "You found the secret." He goes, on those Tremec, you got to use a ball. It's the whole ergonomic with the T handle goes on a top loader or a Muncie or the old school transmissions, not the new ones.
And even when you use a T handle, they're never straight. They're always.
I always used to angle mine, on about a
also
30-degree angle.
turned. Yeah.
Absolutely.
That Super Shifter 3, a T handle did not feel good at all. That's your typical Hurst white ball type
Exactly.
shifter, with the line lock button down on the shaft.
Right.
That's the only way to run that shifter.
Yeah.
So
That's funny.
we'll see how it is with the Lenko.
Well, Brian, my friend Gerard was listening to the show on Sunday, and he sent me some texts afterwards. All this stuff about putting Coyote motors in early Mustangs. I was like,
there you go.
I said, I don't think Brian's quite ready for that yet, but I'll let him know.
Yeah.
He inundated me.
Evan's a good guy for that.
Oh, Evan, sure, of course. Yeah. I mean, he's going more new school now. He's really hitting the new stuff, but
Yeah, but he knows about that. He can tell Brian who to go see.
Yeah, he's a good resource for
Who
sure.
to go to. He's the best resource.
A Jersey guy. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm so glad that he lives right near me.
That's great. Yeah.
Yeah. It's amazing. I ran into him, believe it or not, in Dunkin' Donuts.
Wow. Okay. That's wild.
Had no idea. I've been here since 2004. He moved in a few years later when Source Interlink moved into Brandon, Florida.
Yeah.
And I pulled into a Dunkin' Donuts to go grab a coffee and a bagel.
Yeah.
And I see this guy, and I'm like, God, where do I know this dude from? And I walk up next to him, waiting for my order, and then he looks at me, and I look at him, and I go, "Oh my God, you're the Ford guy from Englishtown." He goes,
yeah.
"You're Chassis John."
Yeah.
And
a small world, isn't it?
Yeah, he's like, "What are you doing here?" I was like, "Dude, I've been living here since 2004." He goes, "Really?"
Yeah.
Yeah. So he took me over to Source Intel. He goes, "What are you doing right now?"
Nice.
I said, "I got about an hour to spend." He says, "Come to me where I work." That was a huge, huge building.
Yeah.
They had all of those magazines,
they
in
had
there.
a ton of them. Yeah, they had a bunch.
There was this gigantic room. I bet it was probably about 6,000 square feet with cubicles, with writers for every magazine that they had.
Yeah.
And I'm walking around and I'm like, and it's weird because like each one of these writers, they're in their own little world, So like who's working for Truckin' Magazine? He's got like trucks and stuff and die-cast models. Who works for, Chevy, Super Chevy?
Right. That high performance Pontiac there.
Camaro, high performance Pontiac.
Yeah.
So everybody's got their own little thing going on. Evan was the editor of Muscle Mustang. He had a pretty big office. Jim Campesano, he was Super Chevy.
Sure.
Then there was this big room that had shelves of all of these magazines, every single title going back like 4 months, and they change them out. And he's like, "You need any magazines? Here, check this one out. Look at this one. Oh, I got this thing just about Trans Ams. Take this, take that."
Nice.
And then there was about he would know more than me. I'm going to say probably about 15 to 18,000 square feet of shop space.
Nice.
Lifts, because they did how-to articles.
Right.
They had, they had a photographing room. It was a garage that was all white, and then it had these
Tarps.
corners that turn up.
Borderless
So-
paper, yeah.
Right, so you couldn't see,
Mhm.
The
you know,
corner.
where the floor meets the wall. It was curved,
Mhm.
and it was all white.
Mhm.
And they would pull a car in there,
Mhm.
and then whatever epoxy they used, you wouldn't leave any marks.
Yeah.
And if it did, you could kind of wipe them off.
Yeah.
So they would basically put the car in this like sterile environment, and it had all these beautiful lights,
Yeah.
you know, hung around. They can move
Boxes.
stuff and do all kinds of photography.
Yeah.
I did an article with them where they brought me in, and I actually TIG welded a roll cage into a Project Mustang.
Oh, nice, nice.
So they shot that article, and they did video on their website. It was pretty cool. You know, I get a call from Evan. He's like, "Hey, man, you want to come out of retirement for a couple of days?" I'm like, what do you mean? He
Yeah.
says, we got this kit from S&W. We're doing this Mustang. It's sponsored by a couple of companies. We need somebody to TIG weld.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, no problem. So
And all that's gone now.
all gone.
Oh,
All gone.
Yeah, all out in California.
Yeah.
Everybody left basically. Just
Yeah.
almost.
The
everybody.
magazine started closing one after the other.
Yeah,
Subscriptions were done.
that's
That was it. Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, Evan and Jim, you know, they made the move from Jersey down to Florida.
Right.
They both live, you know, Evan lives in Valrico. Jim lives in Riverview.
Mhm.
And when it came time to move again, the both of them were like, nah, not going.
Yeah.
Like it here too much,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know? So yeah,
Yeah.
They both went their separate ways from the magazine, and
Right.
now you're seeing that the magazines they're stopping, you know,
Yeah.
printing.
That's right.
So I mean, they still have staff. They're going to write stories. It's just going to be all web based stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. It's not the same.
No.
Nope. Nope.
I want to read the Matco monthly review. That's what I want to read.
There you go.
But I can't find it on a newsstand, and Brian ain't putting it out. So
I'm not putting it out. I don't know. I don't know how that would go over in corporate.
Brian, just think like you just put in the funny freaking stories of crazy crap that you see on a tool.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the life of a tool guy. It's like having a bread route. I mean, you see all these crazy things.
That's a television show.
Yeah.
I'm serious.
Yeah.
I pitched it. I pitched it, and I tell people, you would not believe the stuff that I see. So
You know what you need to do? You need to put a couple of GoPros in the truck.
Yeah.
You need to get that GoPro that goes
Document it.
on your hat, and you need to, you know, get a microphone deal, like
Yeah.
a wireless for yourself, and you just need to record your day, and then maybe find somebody that's good at editing that and putting
That's
it
the thing.
together, and
YouTube
that's a YouTube show.
Well, I'll
Yeah.
tell you, the guy that I watch, Clay Coon.
Everybody that's got this stuff going on, they're doing it themselves.
Yeah, Clay does it. He does he has got a guy, Joe, who does like off-brand tools on Monday, gear wrench stuff, and he was a Cornwell dealer and that kind of stuff. Then he does. He's got a Matco guy on Wednesday, Michael on Wednesday, and he's got Snap on Friday, and he does it with his camera. He's got a gimbal mount, goes on a truck, and a couple of his employees. He's only got 2 employees. And they kind of ham it up and they have fun, you know, and they goof. And the beauty of it is, like, he calls stuff like it is. Like on a Snap-on truck, he'll say, you know what? This gun, everybody loves it. This is the biggest piece of garbage in the world. He goes, I hate this thing. There's a gimbal right
This
there.
is what you buy. You buy one of these.
You go,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's nice.
Your iPhone goes inside it,
Sure. Yeah, there you go.
and it works on Bluetooth.
Now, what do
There
they
you go.
cost, by the way? What's something like that go for?
I think I paid like $169 or $179.
Have you
Mhm.
seen the new one
I
that you
just-
put your iPhone in and it has a camera built onto the gimbal?
I just saw
And
one on YouTube
Oh, yeah?
tonight. It was a small handheld one, AVE. The
Yeah,
guy
yep.
does the one, he just did one today.
They're
he
like
was-
$400 or $500.
yeah, he
But
said,
the camera on it is top notch.
The only problem is
Yeah.
he showed his camera did not do well in a low light situation. He said it was like, because he was out in the snow. So in the snow, you get that super bright white light and it balanced that fine. But as they were out there during the day and you could see it was getting darker, you kind of lost it with the low light. So yeah,
Oh,
for
really?
daylight, it was fine. But that was just the one that he had.
Yeah, I seen a
think
guy.
The new
seen a guy at
iPhones and
SEMA
the new
with one.
Androids are good for that stuff.
Yeah. Oh, my Android is great in low light. I get some really
Yeah.
good pictures. Yeah.
Well, the one I seen the guy in at SEMA, and I'm like, oh wow, what is that? And the iPhone clicked into it, but it didn't use the iPhone camera. It used its own camera,
Okay.
and it was, oh man, you should see it, man. It was
So
pretty
use the
tough.
phone as the processor, as the brain.
Yeah, and the monitor.
Oh, and the
phone
monitor, right?
monitor
Okay.
and recording. The phone recorded it, but the camera was on the gimbal.
Right.
And it was that same company you just said, Jingo or Django or something.
Yeah, I didn't know what the name was.
Yeah, mine's an Osmo, DJI Osmo.
Yeah, I've heard of Osmo. Sure.
Yeah,
Mine
What
is
works great.
bootleg.
Why did you get that, John? What were you doing with that?
Yeah, I was doing a lot of stuff for the aquarium business,
Okay.
and it's really difficult to film an aquarium, period.
Yeah.
And you want to get rid of the bounce.
Mm-hmm.
And then
It worked pretty good.
Okay. Sometimes when you go to the drag strip, you want to film what's going on, and instead of doing this,
Yeah.
Mine's a Neewer.
Oh no. I have I'm looking at a box right now. Neewer. I got a microphone from there. Yeah. I think it was New Year or some crap. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a very popular company for stuff like that. Yeah.
It's good. I like
Yeah,
it.
it works pretty good.
Like I said, this guy Clay, he does the 3 tool videos a week, and he does some other stuff. He has a Diesel Medic channel where he does repair. And the tool, I'm like, that's what hooked me on him. I'm like, I'm Life of a Tool Truck. Brian, I think I sent you some of the early stuff with the Matco. Yeah. And it's like, this is kind of cool. You get to see other guys' tool trucks and what they're doing. And hey, can you get me this? It's like,
yeah, I think from the pieces and bits that I got, Clay had a pretty hard fallout with his original Matco guy.
Oh, he had real problems with Matco guys. Yeah.
And that guy went on to be the Gear Wrench or Cornwell guy or something.
Oh, okay.
And that's I tell you, that's like almost instant death. Because I get phone calls I've gotten phone calls from Snap-on and Mac and Gear Wrench about jumping flags, changing trucks. We'll give you $80,000 and product. We'll change your truck for you. And I get these phone calls all the time about moving.
Right.
And they want me to have my same route.
Wow.
Oh.
And I'm like, dude, you don't understand. I can't walk in one day saying, here's a Matco tool. And then the next day say, well, here's a Snap-on. And then they say, well, my broken Matco, I can't help you.
Right.
That just ain't going to fly.
Yeah, that's tough. It's tough to do that.
That'll piss some people off.
Yeah. And because I've had what, two Mac guys, 3 Cornwell, 1 Gear Wrench, and I've had 5 or 6, 7 Snap-on guys in my 18 years. Yeah,
we don't have any Cornwell guys up here that I've seen. And there's a Mack truck that floats around my area, but forget about man ain't coming. Man can't be found. You can't even, I see the truck, but he's like a ghost. It's like, what's this guy doing? He just drives around. I don't know if he's servicing anybody.
He bought it for his wife to think he's going to work.
Yeah, right. I think so.
Yeah, he's sleeping in the back.
Yeah.
He got a good setup.
It's predominantly yellow, so you can't miss that damn truck. It kind of sticks out.
It's crazy.
It's funny stuff.
So, but I always laugh. I always like when I get that phone call. Hey, this is so and so. No problem, dude. Don't even waste your time.
Now, how do they find you? Like, what's their formula for calling you instead of somebody else?
I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty sure. Well, like the Snap-on guy that I used to go up against, he had left Snap-on and he became a Cornwell rep.
Okay.
He was a district manager for Cornwell, and he called me all the time and wanted me to jump. And then I think he went back to Snap-on and he called to see if I wanted to change and go over. So I think a lot of them are just the reps that were in the area. Like the Gear Wrench guy, he was a salesman for one of the warehouses that I dealt with.
I don't have any Cornwell tools. I just every time I get a name, I think of corned beef. I think of corned beef. Like I want corned beef and cabbage. I want a corned beef on rye. That's what I want.
And you know they're the original. I mean, they're the original, and they started it all.
Yeah. I know it's an old company.
And they're the oldest. They're the oldest company, and they started the whole thing.
Yeah.
And
they're white with blue letters, huh?
Yes.
Okay.
I gotta say this. We talk about advertising a lot, and on Twitter and Instagram, Snap-on did something really cool for New Year's. They showed like a ball dropping, and it was their logos from the 20s, from the early years, and it kept changing with every stage of the ball. It got newer and newer and newer. When the ball dropped and it hit 2020, bang, and then it came up with 100th year anniversary in 20. It was the greatest advertising campaign. I was like, they freaking nailed that one, man.
And
that was.
I'm telling you, man.
Was good.
Like I said, the marketing department is.
They probably pay an agency. You know, they're ponying up the bucks. They're not doing that in house, and they're doing a good job. They really do. And I really think Matco's doing you guys a disservice by not doing the same thing, because you should be out there promoting the line. Tools are fantastic.
It's so hard to get corporate to understand. That's why, like I said, I know they will not like me. I can only imagine.
I mean, when I hooked up with this guy that I have now, and like a buy one get one deal, like buy this get this free. Like, am I on the right truck? I'm like, this is a Snap-on truck. I'm like, dude, I never got a freaking free anything on a Snap-on truck.
Well, that's I think that originally came from us, because we have a lot of that.
That's great. Well,
and the buy one get one free and so forth. And I know for a fact Snap-on never did that before.
Oh, no. So I asked him. I said, why? Because this guy, the guy who's the dealer now, used to be a zone rep. So he was like kind of management. And he went back into a truck because he just wanted to get back into a truck.
He wanted to make money,
I guess. Yeah. And he said, you know what it is? But you know what? But I'll tell you, God's honest truth, I love the guy. He's a great guy, and he's a good friend, but he doesn't push. He doesn't do anything to really, he just lets the tools, figures the tools will sell themselves. And that's not always the case. Sometimes you gotta work it. You gotta have this. I watch these guys online, and like, you know, there's specials. They display it the right way. It's like, make it easy to find, clean the truck up. Whatever. That's a whole nother story. But I asked him about that. Like, what's with this whole selling paradigm? I said, I think it's a great idea, but what happened? Who got hit on the head at Snap-on corporate? He said, well, the upper management is still the old guard, the old people. There's a woman who was like the wife of one of the founders or something, or whatever, or granddaughter. Maybe she's a granddaughter. But all the other management team is younger people. And I said, there it is. They brought in a new management strategy that speaks to a modern economy. It's like, give people something. At least if you give him something, you're marking the shit up anyway. So you know what? It ends up being a wash pretty much. But now you're making that customer feel like, hey, now maybe I'll buy that extension set and get another thing too. And that, you know, that really helps sell the stuff. It really does. And I guess you would have seen that too on your end, because.
Oh yeah, well, like I said, we have a bunch of older school guys, and and you talk to them, and they just kind of look at you, and I don't know personally, but the guy we do a lot of rat fink stuff.
Yeah.
And we're like the only ones that do that, and we have the guy that does that has it in with Ed Ross's mother and daughter. I mean,
I was going to ask you, what's the tie-in? Because that's very specific. And
I tell you, the stuff that they throw at her to, promote and do, 85% of it gets shot down.
Wow,
and
really?
She's just, she has, as she says, or as, she told him and he told me, was that there's an image, a bubble, and a way they want it, and they're not going to deflect from that.
Right.
And sometimes it's very aggravating, because you can say, man, I could sell this would be a hot item, or this would be and it's just crazy. So
speaking of the marketing, on Christmas, when my older daughter was over here, I showed her, she made me a cocktail glass with an American flag with nuts and wrenches. And I said, hey, I got to show you something. So I pulled up the picture of the flag I got from you. I said, look at this Matco flag. I'm like, this is the same exact. I said, where'd you get that image from? And she goes, "Oh, I don't know. I probably got it online somewhere." I'm like, "It was probably a macro site." Like clipping their stuff. I said, "Don't worry, I won't tell anybody. I won't tell Brian on you."
Yeah,
Okay.
that was our
That's a great idea too.
that was one of our biggest things, but we shot ourselves in the foot with that
Why? How so?
because our wrenches are no longer U.S. made.
Well, okay.
And a lot of guys said that's it. They're not going to carry it. So they're actually like, that stuff is just sitting around because nobody, like again.
Hey, you know what?
A lot of older guys.
Can I get it cheaper?
You know what? I'll tell you something. I'm an older guy. I guess I'll say that. I hung one at the shop. I'll hang another one. I don't give a shit. You know what? I like the design. That's cool. So I'll put it on the wall. What the hell?
But like I said, a lot of guys start busting their balls about it because
I'd want to go through their toolboxes, tool by tool, and see just how, listen.
Oh, yeah.
There's no way around it these days. Come on.
No. I mean, it's just a whole different world. But it's funny when you were talking about that. And like I said, I always laugh about when I hear, well, why is it we're not selling this now? Or what's the problem with this? It's like these guys have the, when we had when most of our hard line, now see, some of our hard lines USA still.
Mm-hmm.
But, it's gotten less and less. And that's one of the things that, we fight about because we want to have that USA line.
Right.
That's like one of the big things with the ratchet, like how when they engraved the U.S. flag on it.
Yeah.
Made in, made in the U.S.
Right.
And, some people matter. Some people it matters. Some people it doesn't. But, I guess the biggest problem, and Snap-on has the same thing because I hear it from their guys and with all the other ones. Mm-hmm. If you're going to charge USA prices, it better be USA stuff.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah.
Well, I got a question. Have you seen? Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say you need at least a USA service behind it and a warranty, and give me that at least instead of
Right.
So there's other things you can do as well, but.
Have you seen a difference with the trade wars that we're going through, or trade things?
Oh yeah.
Actually, it was kind of funny because we got an email saying about our price increase, and they actually decreased it.
Wow, nice.
So, I'm kind of surprised because usually we have an increase of. I don't know what it's called. It's some kind of bulk rate weight thing on metal, and some things will go up a couple dollars and some things are only, pennies, it seems like. But this year was actually a decrease.
Nice.
That's good.
So I don't know what that really means or how that worked out.
Yeah. They're going to make all the sockets half as thick.
I mean, well, I don't know. You say, everybody has an argument about the trade wars and all that stuff and price of this and price of that, and everything's going to go up, and we get a thing saying, oh, the price went down. So
it's great.
I would rather pay a couple dollars more to have people working here in the country. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah. It's just common sense. But in the past, we have been, what do you call it? Desensitized to think that we need Chinese goods. Oh, they're cheaper. We're not. We got talked into that mess. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, it's a Walmart mentality. It's repair by replacement. You don't try to fix. I mean, I take everything apart. But now it's like, hey, if it breaks, throw it out, buy a new one. it's cheap enough. Like, damn, but I want that metal fan that I can put brushes in. It's like, but the guys like me and us, we're dying off. So our kids aren't thinking that way. Well, actually, my kids did adopt some of that from me about repairing. But then you got to be able to do it, which you can't do. So.
Yeah, I had that discussion with some younger people. I'm like, listen, I'd rather not have a dollar store, pay more because more people are working. You know what I mean? If I'm working, I'd rather pay more for, American product.
Well, that's probably the rub. Like you just said it. I'm working. There's a lot of people out there that ain't working, and they want everything. They want us to pay for everything for them. You know.
Yeah. Yep.
So,
Yep.
and that number seems to be growing all the time.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's everywhere. It's not even local. It's everywhere. You know? I mean, look at California. It's, I saw some on the news the other night. They were showing more of the homeless thing in LA, like right in LA.
Oh, it's bad.
Yeah, it's bad.
You know it's bad when they have an app telling you where the poop is
Yeah,
so you don't step in it.
I heard about that. Yeah,
What kind of mess is that?
that's crazy.
Wouldn't you be embarrassed if you were the mayor or the governor
Uh-huh.
Oh.
that somebody created an app showing you where poop?
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, wow.
I heard Nancy Pelosi said, make my fence another 4 feet higher. It's like,
Yeah.
keep them out. Right.
I don't get it.
I don't.
I
Oh
don't know.
well.
Don't get me.
But hey, fellas, I'm gonna let you guys start your after party. I gotta go.
Yeah, all right, Lewis.
Hey, Vince, do you want to jump in?
Vince.
I can put Vince in.
Be in a truck somewhere.
Oh yeah, he might be on the road, huh?
Yeah, I know. Who
Let's
knows?
see what he's doing.
Wow.
I don't know if
Hey guys, I appreciate you guys coming on. Next week, I look at my paperwork. I think we're gonna have. I don't know. Don't let me
we'll
tell a
figure
lie. I'll find out.
it out. That's what we're here to do. Tell lies and stories. And
yeah.
There you go.
All right, fellas. I'll talk to you guys later.
Okay. Good week.
All right, let's take care.
Thank you.
Oh man, Shevitz.
That's it.
Man. I'll be glad when this week is over.
Well, it's only one more day. It's like Friday's tomorrow. That went quick.
Yeah.
Yeah. I gotta try to run 3 days tomorrow.
What do you mean? 3 days into one?
Yeah. Try
Okay.
to run some of my Tuesdays,
Oh, making up.
Wednesday, and Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Making up for lost time. Yeah.
try. Yeah.
The travails of a tool man.
Never ends.
Yeah, I guess not. Guess not.
Oh well.
Did
Keeps me out of trouble.
guys spend any Christmas money on extra tools this year or anything? Or
No, this is probably the weirdest. This is probably the weirdest year for my business.
really?
Really, yeah. It's
Hello.
Whoa!
there
he
it
is.
is.
In a sleeper cab, I guess.
Yes, sir.
Nice.
Yeah, look at that.
All
Laid back and
132 inch.
You got the best video I've ever seen you have, and you're in a
Crystal
freaking
clear.
truck somewhere. You're home and your video doesn't look that good.
Well, this is the brand new $1,100 iPhone 11 Pro Max, whatever.
Oh, there we go.
Oh,
So
HD.
yeah,
Yeah.
I am at a truck stop in 22 miles outside of Knoxville, Tennessee.
Oh, nice. We got the new goateed version of Vince. That's pretty cool.
Well, I have worn a Van Dyke years and years ago, and I shaved it off when it gray. So
Yeah. Hey, your mustache stayed. Mine all went at the one time. But you want to know what the funny thing is, John? You can check me on this. Tell me if this is you. I trim my mustache with a trimmer,
Yeah, me too.
and the hair in the sink will be black.
Isn't
Like-
that weird?
Yeah, I'm like, wait a minute. Am I looking at this face? Like, what the hell's going on? But everything in the sink is like, what the fuck is going on, man?
when I do my beard, the same thing. I wonder
Really?
about that.
What the hell is going on? It's
I
got to
think
be.
the
I thought
water
it
acts like Grecian Formula 16.
was a cruel joke. Like, what the hell is going on, man?
Well, I'll tell you what, Ray, when I was younger, I worked in a bar down in Florida, and I had a girl walk up to me, and she goes, I have to do this. And I had a full beard at the time.
Yeah.
And she walked over, and she just tugged my beard. And I was like, it's
Oh.
real. It's mine.
Yeah.
She goes, well, my hair in those days was like kind of a light chestnut colored brown. And my beard was auburn red.
Yeah, I could see
Looked
the
like a
red.
redhead.
Yeah.
And she goes, your beard is so auburn, it looks fake. I said, well, it's not. It's mine.
I call you Sven. Yeah.
At that same bar, I had a girl walk up to me and just plant one on me at the door. I was bouncing at the door, and she walked in and she says, I'll talk to you later. And she bebopped inside, and all the other guys are going, "Who the hell was that?" And I'm like, "I don't know."
Yeah.
I walk inside. She's like, "Hey, Steve, what's going on?" I'm like, "My name's not Steve." She's like, "You don't live on Long Island?" And I'm like, "No, I'm from Georgia." And she turned about 5 shades of beet red and went to run. And I grabbed her and I went, "Don't sweat it." I said, "It happens." And
Right.
she's like, "My God," she goes, "You look just like this guy I know from Long Island." And she goes, "I thought you were him." I'm like,
Wow.
no big deal.
Yeah.
No big deal.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So
Funny
I
stuff.
must have been that last caller Saturday or Sunday, because it was close when I called you from when I was coming across in Alabama. And I sent you that picture.
Book right here. I retired it up to its into its spot, and I will, because I actually take note of stuff like that.
Because I had
I
sent,
think he was.
I sent you a picture of that Causey-headed
Yes, you were.
2,000 horsepower motor.
Brian,
and
you were the first.
You're like, call. John's in the studio, and I went, "Oh, okay."
Right. Yep. You were the last caller for 2019. You had that.
That's
We'll
pretty
see we'll see who the first will be on Sunday. We'll see. Not that it matters, but yeah, I usually do my best. I keep a running list of like memorable moments for the year, and I usually do that on the last day of the show for the year. But I didn't want to interrupt the flow with you, John, so I'll do that now at the first day. I'll do it. It's just a list of about like 15, just things that happened, like we did, things that were firsts or whatever. So no big. Yeah,
very good.
it's our anniversary, man. The 3rd tomorrow. The show is 18 years old.
18.
Jeez.
Yeah, tomorrow. Yeah,
That's good. That's
we actually had our 10th year anniversary at the junkyard in Freeport Auto Wrecking, because he had it all cleaned out to do a thing for the Freeport Historical Society, Jimmy, and he told me, "Listen, the yard, it'll never be as clean. His yard is fully concreted. There's no mud and dirt. It's all
nice.
compliant.
Nice.
It's a nice yard, very nice yard. Yeah. It's a junkyard still, but he said, so inside it's going to be as clean as it ever is. The banquet table is going to be there. The chairs are going to be there." He says, they're doing it Saturday night. He goes, "You roll in Sunday." He goes, "Just use the stuff." He goes, "It's not going back till like Monday or Tuesday." Like, great. Set up a bunch of barbecues. We catered in some food. People, listeners, just bring stuff. Potluck. Just bring whatever you want. Bring stuff. I know a friend of mine has a band, and they played for free. He goes, "Listen, as long as we can play outside," and actually they were inside, so they had a little bit of echo. The band was happy to just be able to get out and play. We put the drum set. We put a piece of plywood on the lift, and he put the drum kit on the lift. We raised it about 4 feet off the ground like a riser. So that was pretty cool. We were fucking around. And we had a great time. We crushed cars. We had the car crusher going. It was a real Motormouth anniversary. That was like our pinnacle. Yeah, that was cool.
Now, John, I am with you. That pisses me off to no end about someone who will take apart. You were talking about the drums earlier.
Yeah.
The big one now on Fleabay is in the Ford world, and Brian, you've probably seen this too, are the FE motors.
Oh.
I've run across so many guys that had complete pan to carb FE motors and pulled them apart. Oh, I got an intake, and I got a set of heads, and then I got a block and crank, and I got a set of pit rod. And I'm like,
yeah,
you had a complete running 390 and you pulled it apart.
Right.
To be an asshole and try to make it more money and more money. And it's like, forget it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've told a bunch of them they can pound sand because I'm trying to find a correct FE for my 66.
Yeah.
The convertible. Like I said, like I was telling you earlier, my wife found the original 4-speed top loader shifter in the car. Nice. I've got the original chrome valve covers that go FOMOCO on the breather and the chrome dress up package. All that's factory. She was looking at it. She's like, "Well, what is this? And what is that?" And I said, "That's factory. That's the way this way it was built."
Yeah.
And I said it was a highly optioned 66 because it had the intermittent wipers, power top, power steering, nice. 4-speed, FE 390. And it's just, I've got, it's at the guy who's going to do the floor pan for me. I talked to Lou the other day. He's got to get me some prices on the whole floor pans and a couple
Yeah.
brackets and stuff from AMD since they seem to have the best stuff right now for those, and they're really, knock on wood, they're really doing good for the Ford guys now, finally bringing out stuff that's not a Camaro or a Mustang or an A or E body Mopar.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
It's about time.
Yeah, and because when I talked to the girl about 6 or 9 months ago at AMD, and she said, she goes, we're bringing out over 300 part numbers for the FE stuff or for the Ford stuff that's not Mustang. She says, we have stopped Mustang development right now because, you know, originally
They're
it was
doing
Mustang,
all the
Camaro.
Trinos and
Nice.
the
Well,
Trinos and what was the other one?
Well, that's the same thing. My 66, well, you can put the floor pan in my 66 and it'll go in a Fairlane, a Comet, a Torino, and one other one. But that same intermediate Ford from 66 to 72 uses the same floor pan.
Not a Galaxy, huh?
No, Galaxy's a little bigger.
It is bigger, yeah. No, that's great. You know, those cars are. Hey, listen, everything old is new again. They're coming around, and that's good. But and AMD makes a great. My friend Paul used AMD stuff on his Mopar, on his B body, and beautiful, perfect stuff. Very, very.
Well, they got really smart too. They have what they call a firewall kit, and it's about 10 or 11 inches of the firewall, the toe board, and the hump on the transmission, all in one stamping.
Oh, nice.
And because in those cars, that's where it gets wet, it runs to the front because there's a slight tip in the toe board, so the water runs to that front of the toe board,
right,
where the toe board and the firewall meet, and that's where they rust.
Yeah.
So I mean, all three of mine have got rust in that same area. All three, the two hard tops and the convertible.
Yeah, it's
all three of them are rusted in that same spot.
That's weird.
So yeah, Brian, when I texted you the other day, I was in Maryland. I was rolling through that area.
Oh, were you?
Yep, that's why I was texting you. I was like, let me see what Brian's doing, because I came down from Atlantic City. I was telling
right.
Ray when I was up
That's
there.
the closest you got to here.
Yeah. Oh shoot, man! I got up that morning to make the delivery, and it was 17 degrees, and the wind was blowing like hell. And I went, I got to get the hell out of here. This is cold, and I made my delivery in Atlantic City at, what was it? Where did I tell you? The Borgata.
Oh, Borgata.
The Borgata Hotel.
Yeah, I don't care who you are. 17 is cold no matter where you are or where you're from. It's just cold.
I had my long pants on that day too. So I told my wife, you'd be proud. I had long pants on because it was cold.
I wore long pants in New York for a long time.
And you were walking good, by the way. I meant to tell you,
Thanks.
I would have never, if I didn't know you had the operation, I would have never ever guessed it. You walk even up the steps, and the doorway gave you a little trouble. Trip in, trip out, but the steps, you were like nothing, man. That's great. I'm glad to see that.
Doorway's weird.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I don't know. I've been through it enough. 18 years. So.
Yeah. Today was a balmy 81 degrees.
Oh no.
It was been in the mid 40s all day here and been pissing down rain all day.
It was nasty here too. We'll hit 50 tomorrow though.
Sunny.
Is it raining? It hasn't started raining here. We're supposed to get rain tonight, but
yeah, I think we're gonna.
I can't believe how nice it is outside. It's 40 something.
That's nice.
I saw on the weather.
49,
You
50.
guys got something bad heading up for the weekend.
Yeah, that's the same. Yeah,
coming up out of the Midwest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm out of here tomorrow morning. I've been here since I made a delivery in Cherokee, North Carolina Monday, and that being a hotbed of freight. Although I tell you what, I did find, if you're looking for something crazy, Google, Bing, or whatever your search engine of choice is, look up school bus graveyard, North Georgia.
Oh, okay.
This guy has got a graveyard of buses. And I mean, he basically took school buses and built a wall around his property with school buses.
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
Wow.
Like Mad Max.
And I mean, we're not talking about an acre or two.
Yeah.
We're talking, the place was huge.
So they had the contract for old decommissioned school buses. Everyone I take it.
The story was the guy had a place and he used to do salvage and sell parts, and he got so many people vandalizing the buses and breaking in and stealing stuff, and he just got pissed off and says, I'll fix you, and walled the property off with school buses, nose to tail, so that you couldn't get in. So then the graffiti guys started tagging and painting. So, like I said, look, it's actually pretty cool when I went by there. And if you talk to him and you're pretty cool about it, he'll let you go in there and tag, and it's for the artist, and they'll publish it. They've got their own Facebook site and all that. It's School Bus Junkyard or something like that. It's pretty interesting, but it's. I saw a bunch of buses in there I'd like to have, because that's the new thing. I'd like. Hell, I'm driving a 40-foot, basically like the size of a bus right now, anyways.
Right.
And I'd like to get what they call the Buffalo. The GMC, I guess, was built in Buffalo from 66 or 67 to 80, I think. And it looks like what they used to run in. I used to see in the New York all area, but it had a step roof.
Yeah.
Crazy stuff.
I just think of the one Jesse James built. He built that Dragon school bus. I forget what he called it, but he had the school bus that they actually took to the racetrack. They made a drag bus out of it.
I remember that when it wheels. What they wanted to know. No, that was the ambulance.
Oh,
they made the ambulance wheel stander.
Okay.
Yeah. So
every time I see a bus and I see that 45, that angle on the back, I think, stand this thing up on the rear wheel. We got like 15 minutes left.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm heading up between there's a town, I think it's Seymour, Indiana. It's just halfway between Louisville, Kentucky, and Indianapolis.
Nice.
Well, like I said, it's Thursday. I've been sitting here since Monday afternoon.
Wow. What have you been doing?
Looking for work.
Have you found any?
Not a bit.
Oh shit.
That's the problem. This is the first year in probably 20 years that I wasn't home for Thanksgiving. I left Christmas Eve to head to Austin to pick up a load. And then my wife actually drove up, and we were here. She was here last night, or a couple of days. So she was here for New Year's, but I wasn't home.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Like I said, it's just, I like what I'm doing, but it's a whole different world than what I had been doing. And I needed that. I had done intermodal freight for about 14 years, and I was just about ready to kill somebody. And I'm like, I gotta go. It's not worth, it's not worth it.
What exactly is intermodal freight?
Container.
Oh, okay. All right.
Container freight.
Okay.
Can fit on a flatbed, can fit on a train.
A big, and now you're doing,
go on a boat.
What exactly is it that you're doing now? It's different.
I'm doing what they call expedited freight. I have the truck is an 07 Freightliner.
Mm-hmm.
That it was a wrecked Columbia, and then they stretched the frame rails out, and it's got an 18-foot box on the back of it with a lift gate and roll-up doors.
Okay.
So whatever will fit back there. I've had hospital bed or surgical beds. What do you call them? Finished handrails. What else has been back there? I've had slot machines. I had a fixture for a wing, or like for a place out of Michigan that made aircraft wings, and all that. The fixture would actually build the aileron, or not the ailerons, but the flaps.
Yeah.
And it's just whatever, you need it moved, one truck at a time, air ride, the whole 9 yard, put it back there.
Yeah,
get any good stuff that falls off the back, call me.
Yeah, right. Now you're thinking like New York, John. Yeah, it didn't take long.
Yeah, when I was in Maryland, they had a bunch of guys calling me, hey, I got stuff over here in Jersey. It needs to go to New York, needs to go to JFK and all that. And I'm like, what's it pay? $700? Yeah, well, triple that, and I'll think about it. Click.
Right.
Oh, by the way, Ray, it cost me right at $100 even.
Okay.
Because remember, we were asking about what tolls would be.
Right. That's not bad. That's not bad at all.
From the time when I left Austin to Atlantic City, and Atlantic City back to Atlanta, where you get out of all those toll roads and all that,
Right.
It was right at $100 for everything.
That's not bad at
And
all. That's good.
the worst one being the one right there in Baltimore going up and over the bridge.
Uh-huh.
$21 for 3 axles.
Yeah.
I was like, really? You're killing me.
Shit, the Verrazano Bridge is like $18 now for a car.
5 axle would have been $51 or $54 for a straight truck. Just a 5 axle straight truck or a
To go
tractor,
through
straight
Baltimore.
trailer.
You said to go through Baltimore, right?
I came back through Baltimore. I made the mistake of bringing 95 and going through Silver City and all that area and all that. And I'm like, what the hell am I doing here? I know
You went
better
through-
than to
you
come
went
through
through
here.
Silver Spring.
Yes. That's
Man,
when I text you. That's
Man,
when
I
I
didn't know you were
text
that
you.
close.
Hey, when I text you that about the hey Matt Coman, how you doing or whatever it was, that's my wife's old stomping ground. She's from Virginia in that area and Reston and all that. So
Damn,
when I
you
went
were.
through
I
all that
mean,
area,
that's my area, Silver Spring.
that's where I was at.
Yeah, man, you were in a mess too. 90. I stay away from 95.
Trust me, it took me 2.5 hours to go like 10 miles. I'm like,
Oh,
I know better. I know better than this.
Yeah.
The only saving grace was I had the XM radio on Ozzy's Boneyard, and it was a Friday, so it was Ozzy Speaks.
Yeah, that's a good yeah.
Oh
And
man,
actually-
I'm that really upsets me because
So,
Friday I was
talking about-
probably done early.
So talking about Chassis John, he's got a new album or a new song coming out and it's a collaboration with Ozzy,
I heard
Post
it.
Malone,
I
and
heard
some other guy.
it.
And the guy, the co-host with him, he goes, well, what do you think about Post Malone? He's like, well, I'd never freaking heard it. You know, Ozzy, I never freaking heard of the guy.
Right.
And well, what did you think? And they told him, he says, well, I did my vocals, and then they all did theirs, and the engineers put it together. And then they listened to it, and he says, not bad. And then, you know, it was pretty good. And then he actually met him, and he's like, and they said the same. That's what the funniest thing. He goes, who's this guy with all the face tattoos and everything? And then Ozzy started talking about it. He goes, he's really a nice guy. And he says, believe it or not, he goes, the kid's got a voice. He says, he can sing. He says, so what he's doing, don't fool you. He says, the kid's got talent. And he says, he can actually sing.
Yeah.
And it is what Ozzy was saying when he met him and they actually did some performances together. He goes, the kid can actually sing. He says, don't think the tattoos and stuff are all just that. He goes, the kid's got talent.
Good.
That's
So-
okay. I'm prejudiced.
Yeah.
Well, I've only got my 2. So, you know, but no, but they
A
played
friend
the
of mine
song.
just sent me. Just didn't want to interrupt you. You guys know
Oh,
Frank
no, sorry.
Iaconio, the racing pro
sure.
stock racer?
I know who he is.
His son just died.
Oh wow.
Well, that's
How old is the son?
Pulling 34 years old. He
Oh
was
geez.
pulling out of a driveway
Oh cool.
and he got hit broadside.
Yeah. Oh man.
somebody flying through a neighborhood or something.
I found out that's what happened. My neighbor across the street has been missing since like Thanksgiving, and my other neighbor called me and says, "Hey, he found Bob. Like he's in a rehab facility in Freeport. Then he's coming out of Home Depot, and somebody T-boned him, put him up on the curb, told it like he's broke his hip. He's got a 10-inch rod, and you know, it's like the guy's like half destitute anyway. I'm like, oh crap.
Wow.
No wonder we haven't seen
Yeah, Mount Olive, New Jersey.
Olive. Wow.
What a shame.
Yeah, it is. That is.
Yeah, Ray, if I could have gotten you, I stopped by this place when I was in Louisiana, and they had a bottle of that Jack Daniel's single barrel rye that I was telling you that I've got that I really like.
My daughter bought me a bottle of Tequila Cafe. It's like a coffee flavored tequila at Christmas, and I was like, "Oh, this is going to go in my coffee. This is going to be nice."
I tried my best to get the liquor store to send it to you.
Oh,
And well, I can lose my contract and my affiliation with the company I work for, and it's an FMCS violation to even have it on the truck unless that's what my load is.
oh, to carry liquor, right? Yeah,
right.
sure.
Any liquor. I mean, even if it's in the back of the box, locked up it doesn't matter. If it's on the truck and I can't produce a bill of lading, that's my load.
Yeah.
I can lose. I can not only be fined, I can lose my contract and be out of a job.
The next time, just give me a
So
little bag of meth. It's all right. That's cool. I'm cool with the meth. Just give me a little bag. You know, it's fine.
Yeah.
Be all right. I don't need the liquor. We got about 6
Love
minutes.
those DOT guys.
Yeah, right. I know. Hey, listen, it ain't worth getting jacked over for something like that. No, I appreciate it, but no, you did the right thing.
Well, eventually one day, like I said, I'll pop up in there and take you and Tori to lunch or something. Or
If Tori's around, I don't know. You know, he was so tied up down south, man.
Well, it was fun. Like I said, when I called Lou the other day, just because I hadn't talked to him in forever.
Yeah.
And because I keep he's a cab over freak just like I am, and I keep running across these cab overs in Texas.
You were saying that, yeah.
Out in the blue. Oh, I found another one tonight. It's got the old 8V72 in it, or it was 871. The 8V71 Detroit in it, 2-stroke GMC or 2-stroke Detroit motor. Guy wants $1,000 for it.
Wow.
And he's like, come on, somebody buy this truck. I don't want to scrap it, but I got to get it out of here. I don't have time for projects anymore. Yeah. So I shot the information to him. I said, hey, here's that international cab over you've been looking for. It's old Transstar with a that was the other thing I was telling you. I found him an 8V71 for a project, and he goes, I've got a 2-ton C50 chassis and stuff sitting out there at his place. He goes, I can put it in that. And I said, yeah, you need to, because that thing's about 2,000 or 3,000 pounds. That 8V72.
Yeah.
You got to put it in something heavy.
Right. 4 minutes.
Did you guys ever hear of the song "Damn the DOT" by Jake Brake and the Old Trucker Band?
I've not heard that. No.
Go
Can't
look
say
up
that
the
I
video.
have.
It's phenomenal.
I'm sure it's going to be worth it. Yeah.
I'll have to look it up.
Yeah.
When we were racing Pro Stock with Freddie Brown back in '94, we found a cassette tape from this band at a truck stop.
Oh, cool.
It's awesome. Awesome song.
Yeah.
Guy sings about DOT, motherfuckers.
Yeah, right. I just came across something like that in my collection, but who the hell was it? Shit. Just like not too long ago. I can't recall. Oh, damn. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. That stuff is great.
Just go to YouTube and type in "Damn the D period O period T period."
All right. That's cool stuff.
Awesome.
Hopefully, Ray, you'll have some time to get into those Smokey stories, because that's I've got them on the thumb drive that I keep in the truck here, and I'll from time to time I'll go back and I'll listen to them again, and I bet I've listened to them 50 times. And I mean, like I said, it's what I stumbled across them years ago at a truck stop, and it's basically John DeLorean reading Smokey Unix book.
The problem I have too these days is I don't usually sit long. Like when you're driving, that's great to have on. If you have a block of time, you know, like I'm in and out of the car, you know, during the day. I'm not really in any place long enough, and then the music becomes just background. So that you got to really listen to. You know, I can see if I could hook it up out in the garage.
They
help driving Tesla.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, like I said, you'll have to let me know what you think of that Mark Knopfler stuff, the Notting Hillbillies.
Oh yeah, all his
I like
stuff
Mark. I like Mark Knopfler to begin with. I mean, he's just anything he does usually is just really
fantastic.
He's good, really good.
Yeah, and then we were talking the other day. I said Sultans of Swing. It was Money for Nothing. We're up here in New York now. They bleep out the word faggot. You know, the little faggot's guy's own. Now they beep like son of a bitch, man. Come on.
I'll have to try to get. If you go on my Facebook page, or actually even John, remember the guy that I was telling you was my music teacher in high school, who is of the age of. We used to tell us stories about when he would cut class because he's from Macon, Georgia, and go hang out with Dwayne and Greg Allman.
Cool.
And just he would, I've touched base with him, and he's friends now on Facebook. And like I said, this was my music teacher in high school. A cool guy, and he's really in the SCCA road racing.
Oh, get him to call the show.
He's a drummer.
We got less than a
He's a-
minute. You got to give him my number. Have him call the show. I'll put
I will
my-
do that. Like I said, and he's a percussionist.
Excellent. I like him already.
He's a percussionist in what was the name of his band? Oh, I don't remember the name of the band. I'll send you some information on him and all that. And
Good.
John, good to see you. Brian, next time I get up that way, I will definitely, because I had time to kill. When I was
Oh,
going
yeah,
through that
Too
area,
bad.
I had time to kill.
Yeah,
So
too
I
bad.
will
Yeah,
look
no,
now
no.
that I know exactly where when I'm in that area, if I go that way again or whatever, I'll shoot you something if I know I'm going that way or I can go that way.
Yeah. Yeah,
Right.
no.
So
Silver Spring. I'm in Silver Spring. And,
8 seconds.
Yeah, just
Guys, be
give me a
careful.
text.
I will.
Night,
Later.
guys.
All right, guys.